Welcome to the Tuesday, April 21st, 2026 meeting of the Lewis and Clark County Commission. Will you please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, welcome. I'll take a minute to introduce the folks on this end of the room. Starting over here is Brandy Grandy, who is our recording secretary, keeps track of all of our proceedings for the morning. Commissioner Andy Hunthausen to my immediate left, and to my immediate right, Commissioner Candace Payne. I'm Tom Rolfe, chair of the commission this year. Over here, we've got Nico Hash, representing the county attorney's office, trying to keep us in the straight and narrow. And Roger Baltz, our chief administrative officer. We would ask that you, there's a sign-in sheet just on the other side of the bar here. If you would sign in and give us your contact information, we would appreciate that. And there's also an agenda, copy of the agenda there available for you. Our first item of business is an action item. And it's a grant award from the National Environmental Health Association, Federal Drug Administration, Retail Flexible Funding Model Grant Program. Sarah.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the Commission. I'm Sarah Sandau. I'm the grant specialist at Lewis and Clark Public Health. Today before you for your consideration is a grant award from the National Environmental Health Association, Federal Drug Administration, Retail Flexible Funding Model. It's a very long title, grant program. The grant period would begin April 1st, 2026 through March 31st, 2027, in the amount not to exceed $9,200. The application was brought to Commission for approval in early February. The National Environmental Health Association and the U.S. Food and Drug Administration work in partnership to administer this funding model grant program. The program provides funding to state, local, tribal, and territorial retail food regulatory agencies as they advance conformance with the voluntary National Retail Food Regulation Program standards. More information on the grant program can be found online. The goal of this program is to make sure that when we are inspecting our restaurants and we are making sure that when you go out to eat, that we're able to eat at locations that are safe and healthy, and we're able to work with those business owners to make sure that we are creating environments for safe food handling. The grant program has three primary goals. One is to support strategies that reduce the occurrence of foodborne illness risk factors in retail food establishments. The second is to promote uniformity and build a national integrated food safety system by enabling state, local, tribal, and territorial retail food regulatory jurisdictions to move toward full conformance with the retail program standards. And the third is to fully leverage the expertise and capacity of the retail food protection agencies to meet the goals of this retail program standards. Lewis and Clark Public Health has received this funding for the past 5 years. This grant provides resources to continue work on our current areas of improvement that was documented in our self-assessment. And we will this year complete a new self-assessment as we do so every 5 years. And it will include some funds for training current staff so that they can attend a retail food training conference or workshop to make sure that we have the newest tools available. Staff recommends approval, and I'm here for questions.
Are there any questions from the commission? Any questions from the commission? This was a grant that was not part of your normal funding. Is that right?
That is correct. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And then we approved the application. We were accepted, and now you're wanting to get it done.
Exactly. Thank you,
Mr.
Chair.
All right. Any Commissioner Hunthausen, did you have? I thought you were reaching for your mic.
Well, I was ready to make a motion.
Okay. All right. All right. No, if there's no other um, uh, questions from the commission, is there any public comment? Any public comment? Seeing none, we will. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd move that we approve the grant award from the National Environment Health Association Federal Drug Administration Retail Flexible Funding Model Grant Program as presented by Ms. Sandau.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this motion?
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Henhouse.
just a comment. We've had a lot of conversations here about the inspection program. The license establishment program, I think, is the official title, right? It's really important that we try to support that any way we can. And I know that we've always had a challenge in terms of trying to be in the community as much as possible and fund that program. And so anytime we can find grants that assist us in augmenting the regular funds from the local taxpayers, great, or the local businesses. And this, from my estimation, assists us in making sure that our staff is trained and ready to go and just gives us that little extra boost. So I just thank you for looking for these opportunities, and an easy one for me. So thanks, Mr. Chair.
All right. Any other questions?
No, I think
comments rather. All right. Seeing no further discussion from the commission, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of approving the grant award from the National Environment Health Association Federal Drug Administration, as explained by Sarah Sandau, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Our next item is a contract between Lewis and Clark Public Health and Andrew Lau.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the Commission. I'm Sarah Sandau, the Grant Specialist at Lewis and Clark Public Health. Today I have before you for your consideration a contract with Andrew Lau in the amount of $716 to speak about secondary trauma and resilience at the Coordinating Hope Summit. The summit will take place on June 17th, and all of the work will be invoiced by June 30th. The Coordinating Hope Summit, facilitated by our Strong Roots Coalition, which is a substance misuse coalition, is in its second year. This event brings together professionals working in behavioral health to learn and to connect. We know that our behavioral health workforce, we have a shortage, and we are often trying to fill gaps to make sure that we can fit the need. This is one way to be able to support and connect these behavioral health workers who have a really hard job. And how can we give them some more tools to connect with each other, to learn new resources and skills that they can then bring to the community to help support our community. So that will be the next few agenda items, will be speakers for this event that will be happening on June 17th. Andrew's session will focus specifically on secondary trauma and resilience, with a specific focus on the nervous system and self-regulatory skills. Andrew is based out of Missoula, but has done presentations and trainings in Helena in the past. We received a quote from Andrew's time and have gone through the contract cover sheet process for approvals. Staff recommends approval, and I'm here for questions.
Are there any questions from the commission? Any questions from the commission? Commissioner Payne.
Is Mr. Lau in the audience here? He's not. Okay. I'm seeing some unfamiliar faces, so thank you.
All right. Any other questions from the commission? All right. One thought. It looks like a few of these things are kind of small items, but they're outside your regular budget, and we're going to hit each one of them individually, basically to support this conference that's coming up.
Exactly. Thank you. All from our Health Resources Services Administration grant is where this is all coming from. That grant will support these speakers at the event. Thank you.
All right. All right. And yeah, if there's no other questions, well, see if there's any public comment. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve action item 3B, the contract between Lewis and Clark Public Health and Andrew Lau, as presented by Sarah Sandau.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? I see none. Let's move to a vote. All those in favor of approving the contract between Lewis and Clark Public Health and Andrew Lau, as explained by Sarah Sandau, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Next item on our agenda is a contract between Lewis and Clark Public Health and Florence Crittenden. Sarah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the Commission. I'm Sarah Sandau, the Grant Specialist at Lewis and Clark Public Health. Today I have before you for your consideration a contract with Florence Crittenden in the amount of $1,500 to be the keynote speaker at the Coordinating Hope Summit. The summit will take place on June 17th, 2026, and will be invoiced by June 30th, 2026. The Coordinating Hope Summit, facilitated by our Substance Misuse Coalition, the Strong Roots Coalition, is in its second year. This event will bring together professionals working in behavioral health to learn and connect. In this keynote address, Daniel Champer from Florence Crittenden will explore the transformative power of community health work through the lens of a trauma-informed care, behavioral health integration, and family-centered support. Drawing from his leadership at Florence, a Montana-based organization dedicated to serving young families, Champer will highlight how community health workers are uniquely positioned to foster resilience, equity, and healing in our underserved populations. With a focus on practical strategies and systematic change, this keynote will challenge attendees to reimagine their roles not just as service providers, but as catalysts for community empowerment. Champer will share insights from Florence Crittenden's holistic approach, emphasizing the importance of collaboration across disciplines, cultural humility, and the elevation of lived experience within the profession. Attendees will leave inspired to strengthen their communities by deepening their impact, advocating for the profession, and embracing the full potential of community health work as a force of social transformation. There will be three main goals from his presentation. The first is to recognize the value of interdisciplinary collaboration and in elevating the community health work profession and expanding its impact. So meaning that we're making sure that we're not just working with other people who do our exact same job, that we're working with different professions and we're working with people who have different lines of power in whatever field or circles they're a part of. Reflect on the importance of lived experience and equity in shaping effective community health practices and policies. So are we talking to the people that we're working with and making sure that we're doing the best services that we can for those populations? And understanding the role of trauma-informed care in strengthening community health outcomes, especially for our vulnerable families and youth. And they gave us quite a discount because it's a community-based and they're part of our coalition as well. So we're really looking forward to this presentation at the summit if approved today. Staff recommends approval and I'm here for questions.
Any questions from the commission? Any questions from the commission? Seeing none, do we have any public comment? Any public comment on this item? I see no public comment. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd move that we approve the contract between Lewis and Clark Public Health and Florence Crittenden as presented by Ms. Sandau.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this? Any further discussion? Seeing no discussion, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of approving the contract between Lewis and Clark Public Health and Florence Crittenden, as explained by Sarah Sandau, please say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, our next item on the agenda is number D, 3D, our contract between Lewis and Clark Public Health and Halliday and Associates.
Thank you. This is my last one today. Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the Commission. I'm Sarah Sandau. I'm the Grant Specialist at Lewis and Clark Public Health. Today I have before you for your consideration a contract with Halliday and Associates in the amount of $150 to speak about boundaries at the Coordinating Hope Summit. The summit will take place on June 17th, 2026, and will be invoiced by June 30th, 2026. The Coordinating Hope Summit, facilitated by our Strong Roots Coalition, is in its second year, and it will bring together professionals working in behavioral health to learn and to connect. Deb Halliday from Halliday & Associates, her breakout session will focus on boundaries. So participants will learn simple yet powerful practices to strengthen their energetic boundaries, clear the cache of our built-up fears, worries, and doubts, and replenish their inner vitality so they can navigate their feelings more grounded and more present. This workshop will involve light movement, visualization, breath work, and explore simple techniques that they can do at home, in the workplace, or even while standing in the grocery line. You can find more about Deb and her work online. We received a quote for Deb's time and have gone through the contract cover sheet process for approvals. SAC recommends approval, and I'm here for questions.
Any questions from the commission? Any questions from the commission? Seeing none, is there any public comment on this item? Any public comment? I see no public comment. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve action item 3D, the contract between Lewis and Clark Public Health and Halliday and Associates, as presented by Sarah Sandau.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? I see no request for discussion. Move to a vote. All those in favor of approving the contract between Lewis and Clark Public Health and Halliday and Associates, as explained by Sarah Sandau, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Our next item on the agenda is a grant award to Lewis and Clark County from the State of Montana Historic Preservation Office.
Good morning, Chair Rolfe and Commissioners. My name is Pam Attardo. I am the City County Historic Preservation Officer, and I am here before you regarding a certified local government grant from the State Historic Preservation Office. This is something that we've received every year for many, many years. The CLG program, or Certified Local Government Program, began in 1989, which was when we became historic preservation was created in the county. So this is a grant that's in the amount of $11,000. This is higher than what we generally have received. Last year we were fortunate enough to receive $11,000 as well. And so every CLG in the state of Montana, if they apply for this grant, usually it's $6,000. If they have at least a half-time historic preservation officer, they will get this grant if they apply for it. There are 16 CLGs in Montana, and we are one of them. And so this grant is unrestricted. It can be used towards salaries, operating costs, or special projects. And the grant period begins May 1st, 2026, and ends April 30th, 2027. We intend to use $5,000 of this money to help Preserve Montana, a nonprofit partner who we've worked with for many years, in holding 2 historic preservation workshops. These are open to people throughout the U.S. And locally. And so that is what we are doing with at least that portion of the $5,000 extra that we received. I recommend that approval of this, the Heritage Tourism Council's application to the SHPO for the CLG grant FY 2026-2027. Do you have any questions for me?
Are there any questions from the commission? Commissioner Payne.
Thank you. Good morning, Pam.
Good morning.
So 16 CLGs in the state of Montana. Where are they based out? The one here in Helena,
right.
It isn't just in Helena.
Right. Yes.
Can you kind of
So I don't know if I can get them all, but so we've got
give me an example?
Great Falls, Missoula, Bozeman, Billings. And then there are some that are in smaller counties, and that they're harder for me to to remember. But there are, that's only 5, including us. So there's another 11 out there.
And they do similar projects to what you've been doing. I know we did quite a bit of work on the Unionville School
Yes.
and some up in Marysville. Is that?
So we haven't done anything yet in Marysville, but we did some work in Silver City Cemetery, also in Lincoln. I'm currently working with Lincoln Cemetery. This is something that will be coming forward to you in a bit here, a couple of weeks. The old Lincoln Cemetery in 2016, the commission created a special, let's see, what do you call this? A cemetery district for Lincoln, because there's a historic cemetery in Lincoln that dates to 1864-ish, 68. We're not quite sure when the first burial was. Don't have great records, or even in many cases any headstones, or which were wooden. So we're not entirely sure about the dates here. But so that was created in 2016. There are 3 trustees from Lincoln who administer the district. So we not only have that historic part, but we have a newer portion which continues to be an active cemetery, and that's what the trustees oversee. That we also work with them on historic items. Like I was in Lincoln a couple of weeks ago meeting with them, and they had a bunch of records they wanted me to scan, which we did it in the library, got everything done. But yeah, that's what we're doing in Lincoln. And so just what is coming up is in 2016, a memorandum of agreement was signed with the Forest Service and other participants to get the cemetery listed on the National Register. That expires May 13th. So what I am working with Forest Service and our trustees is to get this extended another 3 years. The Forest Service, there were stipulations that had to be satisfied by each party. We did everything that we could do. We had about 4 or 5 stipulations that we had to complete. And the last one was put a sign up in the cemetery interpreting it. That was dependent, however, upon the Forest Service getting getting the cemetery listed. And what the first agreement said is actually the town site. Town site and the cemetery are 2 different things. The cemetery is higher, and the town site is lower. The town site doesn't have what they call great historic integrity, so it's very hard there are no buildings. I mean, you can't see foundations, you can't see anything. And so the cemetery is going to be the one that's going to be listed rather than the town site. So this amends that as well. But you'll hear this from me later on. I hope that answers your question.
Any other questions? Any other questions? Is there any public comment on this? Any public comment? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd move that we approve the grant award to Lewis and Clark County from the State of Montana Historic Preservation Office as presented by Historic Preservation Officer Attardo.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments? Sounds like you're out there digging for extra money from the state and picked up a little extra.
Yes.
So that helps with your efforts here.
Yeah, very fortunate to receive this.
Tom.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay, I've got another comment. As you know, we went up to this cemetery, the 3 of us and some of our helpers, and I was pretty much appalled at the amount of spotted knapweed. I'm one of the people on the weed board, and it's in the middle of federal land, and so I know our weed board people are very concerned and want to participate in getting that under control, and so I hope that this money will work with them to help at least, I mean, we can't do the whole forest, but if the cemetery would be important.
Yes.
Another comment, we also stopped at the Silver City Cemetery coming back from Lincoln I don't know, it's last month or whenever it was, but I did not realize that the Silver City Cemetery was located there. And I'm looking at the names of the people who are interred there, and there are a lot of people who still, their family, their descendants, are part of our community. And anyway, what a great thing to do. And I appreciate your efforts, and I'm sure, we should be worrying about bigger, more important things. But to me, this is very meaningful. Thank you,
Yes.
Pam.
Thank you. And yeah, that cemetery is very historic. That was basically the county seat before it even became a county. Yeah, it was settled. We figured out with research that that cemetery was in Silver City, or Silver as it was originally known. That was the beginning. Fur traders came with the Native American wives from Fort Benton, and they basically started the county there. And that contained some of those original settlers are buried there.
All right. Any other comments? Any public comment? Any public comment on this item? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
I think there's a motion and a
Are you-
second already
Oh,
on the table.
we do.
Ready to vote?
Yeah, we do have a motion and a second. Let's go ahead. We have we have the motion and the second. We'll move to a vote. All those in favor of the grant award to Lewis and Clark County from the State of Montana Historic Preservation Office, as explained by Pam Matardo, please say aye.
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 Motion passes. Oh, any opposed, say no. Same sign. Now, motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Next item on our agenda is a resolution 2026-23 to approve a tax abatement to American Chemet Corporation on qualifying Class 8 property. Frank.
Sorry about that, commissioners. I didn't realize the presentation computer wasn't set up yet. Commissioner, sorry about that. Well, we're waiting for Brandy to log into this computer. Just giving her fits. Good morning, commissioners. My name is Frank Cornwell. I am the county CFO, and I will be presenting to you 4 resolutions that are pursuant to MCA 15-6 138 and outlined, that is outlined in the 4 attached resolutions. American Chemet has submitted 4 tax abatements for your consideration. Kind of for the sake of time, I noticed that we have a representative from American Chemet Corporation here. I believe it's Dan Gagner. Dan Gagner, he submits these. He submitted these last year and he came back and gave us an explanation as to what the equipment was that's related to this tax abatement. So I'm just going to explain the tax abatement. I'm going to give Dan a chance to come up and explain the 4 pieces of equipment combined. Notice last year we kind of broke it up and it became kind of confusing because I think a lot of times they can connect to one another. And it's just I think it'll be easier for him to explain all 4. And then we'll give you the opportunity to set the tax abatement percentage and approve the tax abatement if you would like. So just a little background on the tax exemption. So Montana allows for tax exemption for qualifying Class 8 property, specifically manufacturing, machinery, fixtures, and equipment installed in place in service after December 31st, 2022. The exemption applies for a period of 5 years and includes 20% phase out annually until the property is fully taxable. In accordance with statute, American Chemet Corporation submitted timely applications and project plans for the abatements. The county provided public notice on April 4th and April 11th of 2026. The commission must determine whether to approve the application and at what percentage the abatement rate should be set, which is 80, 90, or 100%. See attached spreadsheets. There's 4 spreadsheets for each one of these resolutions that explains the tax implications. They are estimates, but they are based off of tax rates. Staff recommends setting the abatement percentages and approval of the resolutions. Upon approval, the resolutions and applications will be submitted back to Department of Revenue. Another highlight I would like to point out for you is each one of these 4 applications have been approved as qualified assets by the Department of Revenue. I believe there was one asset that they had submitted, or one piece of equipment they had submitted that was not determined to be qualified by the Department of Revenue. So that one isn't being presented in front of you today. But if you would like, I can ask Dan to come up to explain, to describe the 4 pieces of equipment for you, and we can go over and approve the tax abatement percentages and the resolutions.
If you just state your name for the record so that we have that on the record. And
yes, thank you, Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Dan Gagner with American Chemet Corporation. I am our Director of Finance. And I can walk us through these 4 assets here. The first one that you'll see is named the C3 expansion. And so that's an expansion on our basic copper carbonate product line. That was completed in December of 2025 at $2.35 million. Our basic copper carbonate line, that is our newest product line. That goes into wood treating. So that's a new product for us and something that we're looking to grow. So that was that expansion. The next one you'll see is a drying kiln. That was completed in June of 2025 for $605,000. That's a kiln that's used in our production operation. The next one are settling vats for $268,000. That was completed in June of 2025. That is a piece of equipment that is used to reintroduce product back into the process for us and allows us to increase yield on our product. And the last one is some centrifuges that amounted to $229,000, and that was completed in December of 2025.
could you explain to us products that are being produced using this equipment?
Yeah, so our main product is cuprous oxide. That's used as a marine anti-fouling ingredient. We're actually the largest producer of cuprous oxide in the world currently. The other products, our second leading product is cupric oxide, and that's used primarily as like a micronutrient for animal feed. And then basic copper carbonate is our wood treating ingredient. So those are the main three products that we produce here at Kemet.
Are there a lot of people in Montana that make the same sort of a product?
No, actually, our competition is primarily overseas. So we make everything right here in Montana, and most of our businesses actually export overseas. And currently, we have, I believe, in Helena and East Helena, 130 employees, and yeah, we ship out all over the world. Our sales team says that we sell to every continent except for Antarctica. So,
Commissioner Payne, do you have a question?
I just, what a fascinating company, and here we are in Montana and you're providing this, and I understand it's for boats, not off sea. I mean, the ones, not fishing boats like my husband's, but
yeah, giant vessels, yeah, giant tankers, yeah, it's.
what are the raw ingredients that you use to produce this?
It's primarily copper.
Okay, so is that shipped in from Butte or?
So we get that from all over the country.
Okay.
So yeah, we have a network of vendors from all over, and a lot of that is, it's sourced domestically. But it's yeah, we have vendors from all over the country that we get it from.
Okay, so that is not imported from
Right. That's
China or someplace. It's
no. Everything is made in the U.S. All of our ingredients are domestic. Yeah.
And is the final product a liquid or a
It's a powder.
powder? Okay.
Yeah.
And do they mix it with something, or how does it get
Um,
stuck to the boat?
So we sell it to paint companies, and they use it as an ingredient in their marine anti-fouling paint. And likewise with like basic copper carbonate, that goes into a wood treating liquid. So we sell the powder that activates that process.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Just in my own mind, to do one of these abatements, it's important to support local businesses that are somewhat unique. But I don't like the idea of subsidizing a competitor that might also be here in Lewis and Clark County, particularly, but even in Montana. And it sounds like there really aren't any competitors in the state that are.
No, I don't believe we compete with anybody even in the U.S. Yeah, I think it's
and a great percentage of your sales, like you say, are export to other countries.
Yeah. Over half are.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And those are the two things in my mind. If we're creating new business, bringing new money into the community, then it's worth taking a look at these abatements. So,
thank you.
and then not unfairly competing with other existing businesses, that in the area. So I think that certainly seems to fit there. Any other questions from the commission? Any other questions? All right. Is there any public comment that anybody might have? Is there any public comment? I appreciate your being here, and
thank you.
And thank you. And your company has a great reputation for supporting the community. I want to mention that, and it seems like through several generations of owners and managers, it seems like they've always done a lot to support our community, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you, and we love giving back to the community and always staying active in the community. So, thank you.
All right, Frank.
Mr. Chair. I have a question for Mr.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, Mr. Cornwell.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. Is that okay, or do you have?
Go ahead.
Okay. I just wanted to hear about our history. We've since this law has been enacted, we've had opportunity to go through this process before. What were the percentages that we chose in the past? And I just want a little bit about our history and if you remember.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner, traditionally the commission has always used the 80%. This has been around for 3 years. This is our third time going through this process, and each one of these, I think the commission has decided to use 80 of the instead of the 90 or the 100.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I understood where we have been. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
If I read your chart here properly,
Mhm.
the tax abatement is 80% for what, 5 years?
Correct.
Or 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 years, and then it drops down at about the 8th or 9th year to no abatement if you
Correct,
use
yes.
the 80%.
Mhm.
But over the first looks like about 15 years of it's over a 50% total abatement in tax revenue.
Correct,
Really
Commissioner. Yes, it is. Even at the 80%, it is a significant tax abatement for this piece of equipment.
Yeah, pretty heavy at the front end, and then drops down, and by like I say, about 8 years out, then they're paying the regular tax on it.
Yep. Then it's right at 100%. Yep.
Okay, all right. Any other questions?
No, I have a comment.
Okay, comment.
One of the challenging parts of being a county commissioner is balancing the interests of our constituents and recognizing that, yes, we want to encourage American Chemet to remain in business and participate, and we're happy for all they do. But for every dollar of abatement that we give them, someone else's taxes are going to have to fill that hole. Somebody else is not getting an abatement or is maybe getting an increase because we've made the decision that we are going to balance this out. And in the interest of keeping our friends at American Chemet here, there's other people that have to step up and fill in the hole. And I believe the decision was made based on American Chemet employs a lot of people, and that spreads fiscal health throughout our community. But many of the decisions, probably every decision we make having to do with taxes, recognizes that it's a balancing act. And for every dollar we save American Chemet, that our other taxpayers in the county have to pay it so that we can get the roads fixed and support our firefighting efforts, support there's so many things that have got to be paid for by the taxpayers. And this abatement is done with a lot of thought and calculation. So thank you for your clear calculations.
You're welcome.
Any other comments?
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Hunthausen.
just to clarify with Mr. Cornwell, this is on newly taxable equipment, right?
Yes.
And so this hasn't been taxed yet. It's not like we're cutting their tax of something that they're already paying taxes on. So this is newly taxable equipment and or expansion, and they're getting a break for the first several years to encourage that expansion or purchasing of new equipment and retaining these employees. And it's one of our really one of our only tools that we have to participate in this that the legislature gives us. Is that correct?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner, yes, that is true. And this is all on the newly taxable pieces of taxes. Yep.
Just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
All right. Any other comments? Do we have any?
Mr. Chair, if I could just jump in,
Yeah.
just
You
to
bet.
clarify really quickly.
Yeah.
So, just because I got a little confused as well, but because this is on newly taxable property, it's not like there's going to have to be, maybe Commissioner Payne, just to address some of your questions, it's not like someone else is going to have to pick up the tab, so to speak. This is newly taxable property. So there's kind of a break on the front end. You're catching up on the back end, but it's not like there's already something that's being taxed and you're lessening it and someone else is having to fill that pot. That's not occurring today. And I just wanted to clarify that, or just if I'm wrong, someone clarify me.
And Mr. Chair, thanks. That's what I meant.
Might I
Clarified that. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate that clarification. And I'm sure the people out there in TV land also appreciate that clarification. One of the problems we have is misunderstanding how this actually works. So, Nico, Andy, thank you.
All right. Any other comments or questions from the commission? If not, we'll move to public comment. Is there any public comment on this particular abatement? Any other comment? Public comment? Seeing no public comment, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve action item 3F, the resolution 2026-23, to approve tax abatement to American Chemical Corporation on qualifying Class 8 property as presented by Frank Cornwell. Thank you.
And I think we probably need to put the percentage in there
Yes.
that we're going to be talking about. The three
Good point.
options are
I-
80, 90, and 100.
I move that we approve the 80%.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second on this first resolution on abatements to approve an 80% abatement in accordance with existing law that allows this. This is resolution 2026-24. Is there any other
It's
further
23.
discussion?
Sorry, 23.
I'm sorry. 26-23. I'm sorry. And is there any further discussion on this item? Any further discussion? Then and we have a motion. We have a second. Seeing no further discussion, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of approving resolution 2026-23 to approve an 80% tax abatement to American Chemical Corporation on qualifying Class 8 property as explained by Frank Cornwell, please say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Now, let's go on to 2026-24.
Thank you, Chairman. So we've already discussed this piece of equipment. Dan has already talked about the centrifuges that are related to resolution 2026-24-24. So staff recommends setting an abatement percentage and approval of this resolution.
You know how picky I am about making sure that I'm resolution is 2026-23.
23 is the first one we just did.
Okay, and we did that one. And now we're on
this
24.
This is this is 2026-24.
Got my paperwork mixed up.
Yep.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right. All right. Is there any further discussion on this item from the commission? Any further discussion or questions from the commission? Is there any public comment on resolution 2026-24? Is there any public comment? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd move that we approve resolution 2026-24 to approve a tax abatement to the American Chemical Corporation on qualifying Class 8 property at the 80% level.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of support, all those in favor of resolution 2026-24 to approve tax abatement to American Chemical Corporation on qualifying Class 8 property at 80%, as explained by Frank Cornwell, please say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Now, we're moving to resolution 2026-25.
Mr. Chair, Same discussion as is the prior two. Dan had already described the drying kilns to you. It's just a different resolution for a different piece of equipment, as described in the resolution and your calculations here of what the abatements would be at the 80, 90, 100%. We recommend you set the commission sets the abatement percentage, and please approve the
All right.
resolution.
Any further question on any from the commission on resolution 2026-25? Any further discussion from the commission? Is there any public comment on resolution 2026-25? Is there any public comment on resolution 2026-25? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve action item 3H, resolution 2026-25, to approve tax abatement to the American Chemical Corporation on qualifying Class 8 property at the rate of 80%.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on resolution 2026-25? Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of approving resolution 2026-25 to approve tax abatement to American Chemical Corporation on qualifying Class 8 property at the rate of 80%, as explained by Frank Cornwell, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Next item is resolution 2026-26.
Mr.
Frank.
Chair, thank you. This is the last one. It's, as the prior three, and described by Mr. Gagner as these settling VATs for resolution 2026-26. Staff recommends you set an abatement percentage and approve of this resolution.
I am, according to my notes, I'm a little confused. I had this. I believe this one was related to the centrifuge, wasn't it?
No, the centrifuge was the second one. It was the 2024 one. This is the settling.
So this is the settling VAT.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. All right. This is 2020 resolution 2026-26 to approve tax abatement to American Chemical Corporation on qualifying Class 8 property. Any further question? Any further question from the commission? Is there any public comment? Is there any public comment? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd move that we approve action item 3I, resolution 2026-26, to approve the tax abatement to American Chemical Corporation on qualifying Class 8 property at the 80% level.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion from the commission on this item?
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Henhausen.
Kind of waited till now just to make comment prior to this last vote, but I just wanted to thank Mr. Cornwell, Mr. Gagner. Thank you. Appreciate the work. I've in the time of questioning, I was going to ask about the number of employees and where the products go and all of that, which has been answered. And I think it's a really important business in our greater Lewis and Clark community and in the great city, as I call it, East Helena. But grateful for the jobs, grateful for the work that they do there. And this is, as I mentioned in my comments prior, that this is one thing that we can do and participate in assisting our local businesses. We don't have very many tools. This is one tool that the legislature gives us to participate. And it's on newly taxable equipment. And so I'm happy to support that and try to give back to our businesses as well that are giving so much to our community and to our employees and the tax base here. So thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other comments? I would agree with Commissioner Hunthausen's comments, and I think this is a good idea. Although, if there's no further discussion from the commission, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of Resolution 2026-26 to approve tax abatement to American Chemical Corporation on qualifying Class 8 property at the rate of 80%, as explained by Frank Cornwell, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. We always take time at the end of our meetings to offer an opportunity for the public to make comment about things that may come up that are not on today's agenda, but are under the purview of our county commission. And is there any public comment? Is there any public comment? Come on up, and if you'll give us your name and tell us what you're interested in.
Very good, thank you. My fellow commissioners, I'm Brad Molnar, Public Service Commissioner, District 2. And I want to thank you for this opportunity to address this body, and I would like to thank your staffer, Ms. Brandy, for actually getting me through your sign-in process in a fairly painless manner. Commissioners, we share constituents. My district isn't your district, but everything I vote on affects your people. We also share their personal concerns. Two of those concerns are in my presentation today: property taxes and utility rates. If I could just kind of jump on what just happened. Utility rates and the cost of production, if what you're making is a item that is very discretionary, may put you out of business. If utility rates were lower in Montana, say an MDU country or co-op, then you can't export out of your county because they'll export into your county, and that includes the nation, and that includes the world. So what I'm about to talk about affects not what we just heard about, but every other aspect of life. I am supposed to tell you that this is not a Public Service Commission request. Commissioner Pinocci and I, after the other commissioners withdrew our comments from FERC, there was no representation for the Montana public there. So we became the independent commissioners. We asked for intervenership. We were told there's never been a minority position of a commission before. It was granted intervenership. We were granted intervenership due to the weight of this question on what became the largest consortium of Northwestern ratepayers. For several years, the press has been covering the fact that Puget Sound and Energy was transferring their coal strip generation capacity to Northwestern Energy at no cost. Due to the lack of capital expenditure to build this plant, this is now the lowest cost of electricity generated in the United States. To build that plant today would cost approximately $800 million. For example, the Yellowstone gas plant, which has been in the news a lot and is now up and running, we rate based that at, it cost them $303 million to build it. We rate based it at $265. No matter what happens to gas costs, no matter what happens to your amount of consumption, the largest part of your bill concerning what comes out of that plant will be covering the capital expenditures. So integrating this electricity into our portfolio as rate-based energy was going along as planned. At this point, due to a lack of technological capabilities, I don't carry a PowerPoint presentation. I do hand puppets. The way it's supposed to work is if a regulated utility, Puget, has a rate-based generation system, coal strips 3 and 4, and they want to transfer it, sell, lease, give, whatever, to a regulated utility, Northwestern, it remains rate-based. For months, Northwestern was filing showing it in our base. Then, unbeknownst to us, they went to FERC and asked for what's called a 205 to make it not rate-based, but market-based. And that's what this is about. So the PSC did not learn about this until long after the intervention deadline. We had to file as late interveners. Northwestern kept it a closely held secret. We discovered it because our staff listened into an investor meeting and they were announcing that they had just made a really big deal by basically deregulating and making this an unregulated asset. As we speak, these 370 megawatts are slated to be used by new customers, then by a data center as indicated in Northwestern's most recent filing of their integrated resource plan. Retail customers were never considered as recipients, even for the first 2-year term, when they're not going to sell to a data center because it hasn't been built yet, but to new customers. This energy is not only among the lowest cost energy in the United States, so it generates the lowest utility bills in the nation, but would also lower property taxes across Northwestern Energy's footprint. We just discussed that. By reducing electricity costs generated by schools, public buildings, city and county buildings, etc. So instead of moving your mills up to account for increases in electricity costs, you get to move your mills down. Currently, out of Colstrip Unit 4, which is part of the deal, we are paying $70 a megawatt hour, the most expensive thing in our portfolio. The new customers out of the same Colstrip Unit 4 will be paying $16.30, a 500% reduction. All that I'm asking for at this time is a letter of support filed with the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission asking that they reconsider their decision that Colstrip 370's 370 megawatt shares are not valued at zero. That's how they're doing this. And return the energy to rate-based under the control of the Montana Public Service Commission for use by Montanans, as opposed to control of Northwestern Energy to be sold to the highest bidder / data center. Yes, we've already lost. We are requesting a rehearing. They did this through conflated statements of those supporting the transfer of use. If you read my filing, I discussed that and they're named in there. We need not rely on such chicanery. Truth and law are our weapons. My last filing had no cite from FERC of any inaccuracy. The others did. Not inaccurate in law, not inaccurate in prior cases. Northwestern just filed a new one, asking them to, this came out Saturday. It's not in your deal. Asking that they throw it out. In 24 pages, they never said that I wrote an inaccurate word, conflated the law, or any prior. They said, well, we think that he filed this, that this should have been this part of the document and that part of the document. It's a common trick. It makes me use up resources. So don't worry about what you're reading. It's been looked at by people that really would like to be able to collaborate and they can't. The letter must be posted, should be posted by close of business April 30th. That's when the deadline is on the request for rehearing. Once they rule, the opportunity is lost. After that, we may need a plan B. I can discuss that if you want to. For the benefit of our shared constituents, let's work together on this now. Cooperation just might work. It has before. You guys are new commissioners compared to before when I had dark hair. But Northwestern Energy went to FERC. You may remember the MISTI, the Mountain States Transmission Intertie, and got approval. As a new commissioner, I couldn't figure out how you could have a green transmission line if it's connected to Colstrip. With actually, there's a machine, a gizmo that forces the electrons to be at the bus in Townsend South. Those were not yet rate-based. We would have had no electricity. So I checked into FERC, and what they did was they had 2 giant collector lines going to all of the wind generating plants and proposed plants that then would go into the bus at Townsend, Montana, about 30 miles from here. And if the project failed, ratepayers would be on the line, the hook, for the cost of those collectors, even though it was a private company move. So I went to 5 county commissions because I had very, very little time, asked them to write to FERC and say it is not right and you don't have the authority to force this on the ratepayers. Northwestern is doing this on their own. Leave us alone. And they started the reconsideration. Northwestern withdrew. About 2 years later or so, It was supposed to go to California. California said, we'll no longer accept coal. The entire project would have failed. That would still be on your utility bills. Northwestern was already bankrupt when they started this. They would have failed. This commission wrote a letter to FERC saying that the people of Montana count. This is not a mathematical equation. And that's what I'm doing here today. So what is this not? This is not a vote on data centers, pro or con, or how to implement them. That's actually in this, Northwestern's request for large load tariff. We can discuss that later. It's not in this. A referendum on coal versus renewable. And I fielded some questions on that last night in Missoula. No matter who wins, coal strip 3 and 4 keep running. It's not about renewable versus coal. It's who gets to use the power generated, the lowest cost generation in America. The ratepayers of Montana or one data center. An uplifting of the entire economy, just in discretionary spending, in businesses being competitive, or one data center. So Northwestern will still control and responsible for running and maintaining CU 3 and 4. I've been told, oh, if they lose that, they can't. Washington state law said that the Puget had to not only not sell, they had to abandon the plant. They abandoned it to Northwestern. FERC has accepted the transfer. I'm good with that. I want the electricity. So that's what I'm asking for is a letter. I've sent you my filing. I have sent, and so everything in there has been proven correct. And I have sent to you a sample letter. You're limited to 10,000 characters. If you don't like something I said, put your own in. The important part is how to address it and the docket number and how to sign it. If you sign it, you know, in abstention as opposed to physically, if you don't have the 2 slash marks on either side, they'll reject you. You don't want to do that. So filing at FERC is not easy. I always call, they actually have a division. It helps people file. If you clicked any wrong deal, it goes into a different docket and it disappears. I don't like to give that number out. I don't want other people calling and saying, Molnar wants me to file this. I will give it to your secretary if you decide you want to do this. When I talked about on the collectors, the Yellowstone County Commission, 2 wanted to do it, 1 did not. Only 2 signed it. If just 1 was on behalf of my constituents, please reconsider. I'm a happy guy. So with that, I don't know that you're allowed to ask questions. You may be. I know you're allowed to. I believe you're asked to offer a request for clarification. I'm more than happy to do that. So with that, I'm done. Pretty simple.
Thank you, Mr. Molnar, for coming in. We don't respond at these meetings.
Okay.
Oh, thank you for being here.
Thank you for telling me how to find this room.
Is there any other public comment? And is there any other public comment? There being none, we're adjourned.